Okay, so I took some time out to record a video for those of you all who have been messaging me, asking me what's been going on, where I've been, what I've been doing. It's been a lot. It's been a long time since I have shared anything with you all, especially in public. I have shared some things on my Patreon over the last couple of months, but I decided to bring this to the public platform. Forgive me in advance though. If you all really know and you watched the platform for a long time, I ended up writing about the church, of course. So yeah, welcome back to Cocktail Hour with Catrice. Let me know down below. That did not go well. But anyway, let me know down below what you all think about this video and how you want us as a platform to proceed. Let's go. I'm recording this video on Thursday, August the 14th, 2025. This is an impromptu video, but I've been getting a lot of messages offline. I recorded a video like 2 weeks ago, uploaded it, and girl, I just didn't post it. I just was like, I don't feel like doing this. But I'm going to record this video, and I'm going to post this video because I've been getting so many messages. You saw my little lace. So many messages about what's going on. So I will give you all a quick breakdown as to what's been going on. I may not get as in depth as I did in the last video because I just don't want to put a lot of that personal stuff out there. If you can't tell, then you just can't tell. How about that? So I'm not going to say that money did not play a part in the decline of my channel, or the decline of me, or the decreasing of me posting. It's a small part. When I say small, I'm talking about very, very small part of that. But I'm going to start with that because of of my observation. Now, y'all know I stay in these YouTube streets. I don't necessarily watch a lot of the church content anymore, though. That's the thing. Like, I'm not like a church content type of girl in my spare time. You're not going to get me watching the men of God, okay? I'm not going to watch them all the time. But when I do, I pop in, I see what's going on. Especially if it's about, like, you know, the TDJ situation, which you all know. A lot of you all know that I've been covering here on this channel for quite some time. But when I do pop in, I notice some things. And keep in mind that I was posting on YouTube consistently for about 2 years. Now, I started in 2018, but then the channel really started rolling after I got off of Periscope. For those of you all who are fairly new to the channel. So for me, it was a lot of work, a lot of research, which a lot of people really don't appreciate. Let me just keep it 100% raw. You're going to get that from me today. And with a little bit of salaciousness. I'm not like a super salacious type of girl because I don't believe in defaming people's character for the sake of clicks and views. However, I was going hard on the TD Jake situation, as many of you all know on the channel. If you all are part of the Wiser Council, those people who have talked to me offline, they really know my true feelings about everything, okay? The Wiser Council, let me just keep it 100. And if y'all really knew who they were, honey, ooh, it's juicy. They know how I feel about most of the stories that I've done. They know how I feel about the TD Jake situation. And they even know how I feel about other bloggers or vloggers here on YouTube. Like, they know my feeling. One time, just sidebar, one time there was another vlogger going live to do sort of an expose. Y'all follow me. Doing an expose, and, sorry, I live in the city. Doing an expose about another vlogger, right? But he was giving out details, okay, about kids and everything, okay? If you know, you know. When the vlogger posted the thumbnail, I'm getting texts from the Wiser Council. Okay, cocktails. Girl, do you see this? I'm like, oh my God. So I decided to stay in the house that night because I'm like, I need to know what the mind of God is saying. Okay. I trust this mind of God. Okay. I like him. We've talked offline. I was here for the mess. I was here for it. I ain't gonna lie. So let's go back to, because I forgot what. So the Wiser Council knows how I feel about things, right? They know the ins and outs of all of that stuff. So now when I pop online, and I am not mad, I think that people should go on and follow who they want to follow, you know, do that whole thing. It's the support that really kind of bugged me. People that had never joined the Patreon, but always in my inbox asking for information. Let me just keep it 100. They were always in my inbox asking me what my point of view, asking about this, asking about that. But I have a whole Patreon that you never signed up for. But you're on other people's channels and the membership. Okay? I see literally everything. The things that I really need to see outside of the spiritual stuff that we'll talk about in a minute, I see it. So I'm not going to lie and act like I was not a little tight with some of the subscribers. Because I was. I ain't going to lie. Okay. So that's it. That's number one. The support was a big thing for me. Like I said, money was very minute, but it's really about the support from the subscribers that really keeps you afloat. It's about the community. And I felt like I formed a really cool community, and people were just sharing, very open-minded like me, right? Like, some people disagreed. I wasn't mad about it. Like, everybody's allowed to disagree. I encourage disagreement. But it was just, I think that's the thing that's bothered me the most about the money side and the subscriber side. So let's go back now to, I want to say it was between October and December 2024. Okay, so this past fall season. That's when I really started to decrease how I posted and going live, even though I had already really kind of started landing the plane. And I kept trying to tell people, like, I'm going to land this plane, so y'all better brace yourself for the plane to land. So, you all, a lot of you all know, if you're new, I had a hysterectomy in 2022. I documented everything here on YouTube. You all can still see it. It's there for your consumption. So this past fall, I started having major back pain. Now, the girl was, and still is thick. Okay, she a couple pounds lighter, but she was thick. Okay, I ain't even gonna call it relationship weight because it wasn't like, that's a whole nother thing. It wasn't like happy relationship weight. It was just, okay, I'm hanging out doing my thing. I'm stressed. This medicine that they gave me in 2022, I feel like it has long-term effects. I need some help here, right? And I'm having major back problems. It's to the point where I am trying to record or have the wherewithal to record, but physically I'm just not able to do it. Wasn't able to do it. And so I will tell you all, a big piece for me, for myself, and the motivation to record had a lot to do with my physical health. Not wanting to wear myself out, not wanting to think too much about it. I work from home most of the time. So me working from home most of the time, I could take breaks when I need to, right? But then it got to the point where the breaks started feeling real good and I didn't feel like getting back up. I didn't want to record. And another major component in addition to the physical part is you as a woman, okay, with a good conscience. Let me just say that I think a lot of these people have a conscience that is seared with a hot iron. That is scripture. Okay. As a woman, I think I internalized a lot of the stories. 150% keep it a buck with y'all. A lot of the stories, I don't want to get emotional in this, but I'm going to tell y'all the truth. A lot of the stories kind of affected me. I think the story that really started the declination of my channel was when I had to cover a young lady in Texas, and I've talked about this before, who was sexually N-worded by her family member for, delete this, for a number of years, and ended up getting pregnant by him. I think he went to jail. And I'm covering the story, and I'm seeing the response in the comment section, and there are a lot of people that were triggered by it. I'm triggered by it. Still had to tell the story. Still had to share. Start getting emails from people saying, "Why do you cover this stuff? Why don't you just mind your business?" And I've talked about this before too, where it's always the people that are in the inbox telling me to shut my mouth, to be quiet, and don't talk about this, are the same ones that come back to me asking me for help. The same ones. Okay. Not their auntie, their cousin, their third cousin twice removed, their aunt, their uncle, they call me and say, "Hey, can you help me out? I'm in need of your assistance." So the story started to affect me. The Pastor Robert Morris story, based out of Texas, really messed me up. I'm about to cuss. Jesus. Lord, take that away. I've been after the Lord to help me with my mouth lately, y'all. I believe the lady's name is Cindy Clemshire in Texas. I don't know if she's in Texas. I think she's in another state. I think Arkansas, something like that. And she accused the Mind of God, which is Pastor Robert Morris, of graping her from like the ages of 12 to 17. If that wasn't bad enough, she did an interview and she said that she was puzzled, but then she was understanding when she was a child at this time, when the story came out, that pastor's wife called her and said, "I forgive you for what you did and your part that you played with my husband." And called it an affair. I said, what? I've always been like this. And I don't know if you all could tell through the screen when I've been recording, but I've always been like this. I used to ask, my mother was great when she wanted to be. Okay. But growing up in the 80s with the men of God and the women of God and the people in the sanctuary, we're going to call them the bystanders, where it was always this double standard with women. So if the mind of God fell, they look at the woman and say, "What did she do to cause him to fall?" So taking the responsibility and the accountability away from the person that was that should have been of sound mind, that's in a position of power and authority, to the quote unquote weaker vessel. And I don't know if y'all know anything about me. I don't do double standards. I don't do double standards well. I just don't. And I have never adhered to the double standard. I used to pose this question to my mother years ago. This is in the 80s, child. 80s and the 90s. And I am a little girl. I'm not even probably 11 years old at this point. She starts talking about the roles of men and women. And how men can go out all hours and like carousing streets, seeking who they can devour like the devil. But the women of God, or the women, had to be home by 12 o'clock because that is what women should do. And at that time, y'all know that homosexuality was not like a big thing. It wasn't out. It's not like the LGBTQIA community right now, where it's an actual community. We have a name for it, right? So back in those days, it was, well, mommy, if the men are going out and they're staying out carousing the streets seeking who they can devour like the devil, who are they sleeping with? And these were the types of questions that I would ask her. And every time she would get stomped. And I think that, number one, that's why I know that I'm probably going to be single for the rest of my life. Because I question everything. My friend right now, it gets on his nerves. I don't care. Okay, I don't just sit around and just allow things to happen. I ask the questions: why, who, what, where, and why, honey. What's going on? You get what I mean? So when I'm doing these stories on YouTube and I'm talking about these men of God, I'm talking about what's going on. I'm talking about the things of the things. And you have to sit and you have to talk about the double standard. And then you have the old school minded women of God saying, but wait a second, because that's a man. You can't talk about the man. And I said, the hell I can't. Because they are in position. They are supposed to be the strong, wise, intelligent men of God. Case in point, I talked to my friend and I, we had these conversations. And whenever he says something that is dumb, let me just put it out there. Whenever he says something that's dumb, I always counteracted with saying to him, I thought that you were an intelligent, educated man. Hard stop. And I say that to get him to think about the words that just came out of his mouth that don't make any sense. And then he'll pause. He says, well, I am intelligent. I am. I said, well, then think about what you just said and say it again. Okay? This is what y'all been wanting. This is what you're going to get from me. You're going to get the pure, unadulterated cocktail hour with Catrice. She's had it up there here, and this is why I've been on YouTube conversation. So when I'm doing these stories, and I'm a woman in the sphere, and I see the women throwing money, because let's keep it 100. A lot of women, especially in the church, that are not married, need a surrogate husband, and they need someone to take care of. Some of the single women need someone to take care of. I saw this part-time job or whatever, and I was having a conversation with this guy. He's actually the owner. We're talking about one of the workers. I'm having a lot of trouble with this person. Okay, I'm in this new position, and obviously she does not want to deal with the woman. She's sexist. I don't care if you're sexist. Get the work done. So he comes to me and he says to me, I don't know what's wrong with her, Catrice. You know, she go to church every Sunday. She go to Bible study every week. She go to prayer meetings. And she acts like this at the job. And I turned to him and I said, you do realize, and I had to, because we haven't talked about this before. I said, let me break something down to you about some of the women in the church. I said, is she single? He said, yes. I said, does she have a boyfriend that you know of? He said, absolutely not. She doesn't have a boyfriend. I said, she probably goes to church because, number one, the church is probably her outlet to do something, to be a part of something in the community. I said, but a lot of times these women use the pastor as a surrogate husband, surrogate partner, surrogate authority figure that can lead them. That's why a lot of these churches are filled with women. Let's just keep it 100. And that's why some of the married women that go to church, their husbands get mad. The husbands say, well, you listening to this man, but you ain't listening to me. They get jealous because the wife is listening to the surrogate authority figure. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What's it called? The surrogate authority figure. The wife is now being led by the pastor. And the husbands become resentful of getting married because they're like, well, wait, like, how are you listening to this man? You go to church every Sunday, you listen to him, but I'm your husband. I should be the person that you quote unquote listen to, which I don't even understand that because a lot of men of God are just stupid. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care. So this is why, a big reason. If y'all want more content like this, let me know. I'll record these kind of videos. This is one reason why I have just been like, girl, it's not worth it. Number one, the men of God are not going to change. Because there is a lack of people holding. Number one, Number one, they lack holding themselves accountable. Lack of integrity, lack of moral integrity in the church. And then the people of God that serve underneath their authority don't hold them accountable, because a lot of pastors want to hear the congregants say yes to them. It's a level of narcissism that the church does not want to understand or comprehend. They just say, the man of God said it, and that's it. I said the devil is a lie. Okay? My pastor and I, when I was working and serving with her, it started off that way because of how we were taught as adjutants. We were taught whenever she says go. But then I started to say, hold on for a second. Some of this stuff don't make no sense. And my pastor was and still is a wise woman to me. Nothing to say negative about my pastor. But I had to question things because I'm human and I have what the Lord gave me, which is a working mind. And so I would ask questions like, Pastor, well, X, Y, and Z, or what do you think about it? And so she started to ask me, what do you think about this? Because she knew that I was not going to give her any fluff. I was not going to yes her. I was not going to just allow anything that did not make sense and or feed her ego, his or her ego, because I would do it. I would say to both of them. He hated it. I didn't care. I'm not here for you all to, honestly, let me be honest. I was a naive person, but I still had a lot of my dad inside. And so I was like, I'm really not here for people to like me. I don't really care about shaking stuff up. If you watch the channel for a long time, you know I don't mind shaking some up. I don't mind. I said what I said, and that's it. May God be with you. May he watch between me and thee. Okay? I don't care nothing about that. I just don't understand the lack of accountability. But, follow me here, the women are expected to govern themselves accordingly. The women are expected to have some sort of respect and integrity and moral integrity within themselves. We are to govern ourselves and to adorn ourselves. But the men of God get away with murder. And so then you have to ask yourself, have we allowed the boys will be boys mentality to take over the body of Christ? I think so. Because the boys will be boys mindset allows men to run amok and do what they want to do with little to no accountability. Oh, he's just a man. He's just a man. But I have to govern myself in a fashion that is pleasing to the patriarchy. Make that make sense to me. So the person who is in position of authority, who is a man, can run amok, do what he wants to do. Excuse me. But if a woman that's in the same position does the same thing, she'll be called out quicker. Because there's a different level of expectation that men and women have that is unspoken, and it needs to die. So that's why that. Okay? People have been making passes for these pastors, these leaders, and these vloggers. And I did do a video about a vlogger, which I think might surprise a lot of you all. On my Patreon, about a situation that happened when there was an interview done back in June. Archbishop Eben that was a mess. But I did cover that in those two videos at my Patreon. If you all want to see them, I am not putting them on the public platform. You will see it in my Patreon. The Patreon is still alive and well. So, I get the messages. Where are you? What are you doing? I am doing self-care. Okay? I am doing self-care. I am taking care of Catrice. And I still have to do a better job because work has been, first of all, I'm so thankful to the Lord for opening up different opportunities for me. So excited. He's opened up some amazing doors, and I'm thankful for it. But I still have to do a mental cleanse for myself. Okay. And I think a lot of this video is part of that, is because I'm getting the emails, I'm getting the messages, and I can feel the tone in the emails, which I'm not mad about. People are concerned about me. They want to know why I'm not recording, and they get used to, you know, the folks that they follow on social to be there all the time. But work does not always permit that. Then I had my body issue, or my back issue rather. So I had to start working on my weight. Okay, she was thick, she was still sexy, she was still pulling them. Let's be clear, still pulling them. Okay, if your granddaddy came next to me, he would probably say, let me buy you some dinner. Let me take you out for a drink. Oh, okay, grandpa, you got it though, because I'm gonna go out. Okay, but I really had to work on the physical. The physical was a really big piece of the puzzle. And I had to find a way that worked for me. I'm not going to really share too much about it. It's in my Patreon if you all want to know more about that. But I had to work on it. So I'm a couple pounds lighter, praise the Lord. But I just had to work on me. I really had to work on myself. In the last video that I recorded that I did not post, I said that I might come live once a month. I started to think, do I really want to make that commitment? The answer is no. And here's why. The support has to be there for me in order to come live once a month, cover all the month's current events. I could probably call it like current events, or, you know, recap or something. But the support has to be there. I'm going to be honest with you guys. And I'm not one to beg. I'm not one to bog you all down and say, you got to support. But let's be for real. In order for platforms to run effectively, you need support. You need money. It takes money. And I was kicking out a lot of money per month for this channel. And I was not getting a return on my investment. I was not. Okay. So the only way that I will come back is if I start getting the support. Okay, if you all want to be nosy, go to the Patreon, y'all do that, that's fine. But I gotta have a return on my investment in order to come live and do the things and to share with you guys my point of view, because I'm also going to be taking time out of my schedule when I don't feel like recording, i.e. when I'm sitting in here and this medicine's wearing me out and I don't feel like getting up for 4 hours at a time. Can I be honest? Okay, read between the lines, girl. When this medicine's kicking my hind parts, I don't feel like doing nothing. So for me, it's just like it has to be there. You all can message me in my email. Do not DM me. I might even shut that down. Child. People have been DMing, and I don't check those DMs. Child. I barely even switch over to my Cocktail Hour with Catrice TikTok page. I barely do that. Barely. Because I just don't feel the need to do it. I'm just like, I'll stay on my dummy page for a minute, because I need to clear my head. Like, I'm tired. And I've also been consuming, which I think is too much, and I'm going to tell you all, too much of one thing can be a lot. Because my nieces, I call them my nieces, were going to college. They're both out of college. When they first went in, I started to watch the Manosphere, and I started to listen to what the men of God were saying and how they allow the pastors. And I think that if you are really kind of, even I'm not encouraging you all because it's so toxic, to check it out, you will see how toxic it truly is and the effects that it has on the minds of people. And it really didn't do anything but to confirm my biases, honestly. Because I've been saying this stuff for years, and I was following a platform. I think the person got sick, unfortunately. I don't know if he's still with us or not. That's another reason why I'm recording this, because he kind of fell off. But I was following the platform that was covering it, and this young man was saying, it's like he was in my brain. It was like he was in my head since I was like a child, and saying the same things that I've been saying out loud to my family and friends for years about the double standard, the discrepancies between men and women, and the dynamics between men and women. Like, he was all the way there. And I don't know what happened to him, but I don't want you all to think that something's happened to me. I am still alive and well. A couple pounds lighter, girl. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure you can see. A couple pounds lighter, okay? My double or triple chin is not triple chinning, okay? If you all want to know more about how I did it, I will link it down below if you all want to know, okay? If you watch these to the end of this video, then I will share with you all what in the world have I been doing. So that's it. That's it in a nutshell. I will be honest with you guys. Can I be honest with y'all before I log off? Let me put my lipstick on. Okay, better. When I started seeing cocktail, you know, and you all are not, we can't own subscribers, okay? You can subscribe to wherever you want to go. But when I started seeing people in other people's chats that were in my chat but never supported, that's when I was like a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But you were in my inbox asking me for this, telling me that, but you don't want to subscribe. You don't want to subscribe to the Patreon. You don't want to subscribe to the website. Like, I'm kicking out all this money for websites, kicking out time and effort to research stories. Like, I'm giving you the woman's perspective in the black church sector on YouTube, full of the men of God. And the thing that baffles me is that men of God can have scandal come out that will be coming back up between December and March, and they will still support. But a woman that's trying to do the right thing, you side on her. You give me 6 months. Then you subscribe, or then you say, okay, I can rock with you now because you know you're not gonna harm me. It's like we're afraid of each other, girl. I ain't got time for it. Can I be honest? I don't have time for it. That thing used to bother. That stopped on it. I was like, really? So what am I busting my tail for? You all tell me down in the comment section. What am I busting my tail for? To research these stories, to do all the things, and I'm putting up my Cashapp, I'm putting up my stuff. No support, but you want to hear me run my mouth. You want to hear about your favorite pastor, your leader, your preacher, but because I don't have a right-handed fellowship, y'all don't sow into the ministry. Or I'm not up here lying to you. I think that's what it is, because people like to be lied to. As I close, I was talking to my sister, and y'all know I love boxing. For those of you all, if you know, you know, my family, my friend, her and her husband have a boxing promotion coming. I go to fight 3 times a year with them. And there's this fighter. And this is about people not feeling comfortable. There's this fighter. And this fighter, over the last 2 years, has declined in his performance. He's getting older. He really should be giving to the next generation, but he is so full of ego and pride that he can't let it go. And for me, I'm paying money to go to see this fight, so I'm like, why is he still fighting? You know what I mean? So, what was I saying? Hold on. So my sister was telling me that she was talking to my girlfriend who owns the company. My sister works for the company. I do not, praise the Lord. I like to go to spectate and see what's going on. So she started asking, like, hey, is he going to be fighting again? And I was like, I'm saying, like, yo, he needs to retire. Like, I know a good fighter when I see one. If you know, you know. I know a really good fighter when I see one. I should be managing, and the people have asked me to manage. I'm like, no. For the right fee, I might manage. But you can't give me a couple dollars to manage. So I'm going to be doing all the things. So my sister says to me, I think that he can't take or handle people telling the truth. I said, when you tell people the truth, it sometimes makes them feel uncomfortable. It does. The truth that may hurt will sometimes make you feel uncomfortable. I know for me, although I love honesty, when people tell me the flat out truth, I have to reevaluate. It makes you feel uncomfortable. You don't want to hear things that prick your heart. And I honestly feel like there were times where I was recording, and for me to say the things that I'm saying about the men of God made a lot of people, in particular the women of God, uncomfortable, because they didn't want to see the pastors in a certain light. They wanted to see their pastor be the mind of, the strong, courageous individual. They didn't want to see the humanity that was connected to him or her in a negative light. They wanted to hear what they wanted to hear. I am not the person that's going to give you the fluff. If your pastor, preacher, leader, teacher, prophet, or evangelist is out here shucking and diving, dipping and dabbing and doing it, I'm not going to tell you, oh, he's a great man of God, girl. He preaches a mighty word. No, he a hoe. Woman of God, daughter of God, son of God. He or she is a hoe. He or she is a liar. Period. You want me to tell you that your pastor is great? Not over here. If your pastor is a hoe, he a hoe. If your pastor needs to work on his integrity, that's what he needs to do. Are you in denial? Are you dumb? Like, what are we doing? And so I realized that a lot of times, especially coming from a woman, it's uncomfortable. But if the men of God say it, they can handle it because it's from a man. Guess what? PSA, I'm not getting paid for this video. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. At this point, what's the channel? The channel's not doing anything. You know what I mean? You can, if you feel uncomfortable with a woman of God telling you about your jackrabbit pastor who's a liar and a thief and a cheater, then get off the line. People used to get mad because I talked about Sweet Daddy Bailey. You mad? Child, they was mad with me. They was mad because I said that I was concerned for the man of God that had to carry his big ass in that casket. They was mad with me because I questioned what strong men did they have to pick that big old casket up and carry his big ass up those steps of the cathedral. And not only that, but they had to I'm so extra, cascade his ass around to all the holy temple churches, the whatever they call themselves, the churches. They had to corral him around here in South Carolina. He went on a tour. And at every tour, these strong, probably, hopefully able-bodied young men had to pick up that big casket and carry it on their shoulders. They better hope and pray nobody sues them for workers' compensation. And they was mad with me because I said that honey. The truth is, I'm concerned about the bodies of the young men of God who had to carry his big ass around. There, I said it. I don't care. I'm trying not to be on my 600-pound life now, so nobody got to carry my big ass around in a casket. How about that? How about that? You know what I mean? As I close, I know that some people felt uncomfortable, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have unsubscribed. This is not the channel for you. I haven't been recording anyway, so you can go. I want people to come here for the truth, not because you just want to feel good. We can have fun. We can do all the things of the things. But I'm not here to just make you feel good. That's not what this content's about. The content's about calling the pastors out, which I got tired of doing because they were always constantly in scandal. Always caught up in doing something. Always doing something they got no business doing. Always sneaking. One pastor, I got a call about it. I didn't even cover him. One pastor, ladies and gentlemen, got caught up. Oh, shoot. He got caught up in the DMV. Because he was messing with one of the musicians' wives. And he's under SY Youngest People. He has now had to step down because of scandal. It's ridiculous. And instead of people calling them out so they can get themselves together, they're just adhering to the bull. letting it lie and chill out. Ooh, it's okay because he's a man. We ain't got time for it. As I close, y'all let me know what y'all want me to do. Okay, if you're gonna support this channel, let me know, and I will post if I want to continue. Honestly, I've been thinking about shutting it down, but the people keep asking, what do I think about this and that? So y'all tell me what y'all want me to do down in the comment section, and I will read the comments and then let you all know how we're going to go from there. I love you, each and every one of you all. Thank you for those of you who are stuck around, reaching out. Thank you to those who wished me a happy birthday. My birthday was July 30th. So thankful for 44 years. Okay, looking like a whole meal. Looking like a whole Thanksgiving. Okay, over here. For 44. Now you need to get these pastors information with their behavior in the same manner that I look this decade. I love you guys. Bye.